Okay, everyone, welcome. Thanks for your patience. Getting right to it. Hi, I'm the ailing Vance Farrow. I teach in drawing illustrations and also chair the Fine Arts Department. But more importantly, I want to introduce our two guests who've very kindly agreed to come today and present to you about sort of career development and the type of work they do. Juan Zauros is this side. He's a Colombian artist. He specializes in storytelling, comic illustration, and tattoo work. His work has been recognized in France and Mexico, among other countries. His imagination revolves around dreams, dreaming, and the occult, and his technique is strongly influenced by metal engraving and ink etching. Our other speaker right here, Daniela Martin del Campo, is a Mexican illustrator who draws from the folklore of her country. It generates symbolic images. I mentioned of a show you can see here in just a sec. She's done work with the Washington Post, Disney, and her work has actually been featured in Italy, Japan, Mexico, and the US. So international presence. If you haven't gone to see it yet, you should treat yourself to the exhibition that's titled Golden Mist that is up at the Tube Factory Gallery right now. That's close to Fountain Square. It's at most, if you drive carefully, 10 minutes from here-ish. Several of us were at the opening this past Friday. Exceptional show. You'll see actually a collaborative effort that addresses the tarot between both of them and kind of get a sense of their sort of individual unique styles. From that, I'm going to put you in their tender care and please offer a warm Herron welcome to Daniela and Juan.
Hi, everybody. First of all, thanks for coming. And as Van said, we have been working in the illustration and comic book industry for a while, at least 10 years for me. And what we both would like to share with you is some insights we've had on our career that may help you undertake your very first works and a career in the arts. So hopefully we will give you some good advices. And in the end, in the meantime, if you have any questions, if you have doubts, or even a personal story to share, they are very welcome. So let's get started on this road of becoming a professional illustrator. So first, a little bit about ourselves, even though Vance introduced us. I am Daniela.
I'm Juan.
Yeah, I'm from Mexico, and I've been working for 10 years illustrating. I normally do editorial and children's book material, but I have also worked for newspapers like the Washington Post. I've also collaborated with Disney Plus doing animated introductions for some series, and a lot of books.
Well, about me, well, I'm a drawer, and well, at the beginning, I want to be like a more fine art artist, I think. And a couple of years ago, I think that, well, I want to only draw is my main talent, I think, and the thing that make me happy. So now I'm working for an editorial, Europe editorial, and I made comic books too and illustrations.
Okay, so our very first advice is surround yourself with geeks. And what do we mean by that? When you choose a career in the arts, you're gonna have to come with this, not a problem, but a real situation that is that you're gonna do what you're passionate about for money. So sometimes you're gonna have to deal with the situation of not having enough time to do your art as you would like to, or maybe drawing subjects you're not too comfortable doing. And it's a contradiction, right? Because art is supposed to be like super free and do whatever you want. And sometimes it can be very heavy after some years of working for someone else too. So I think one of the cool things that we think you should always do is be around other geeks and other creatives.
I think it's very important to surround you with another creative. I think not other not not only geeks, more like people who are creative and passionate about their do for life or for I don't know for make his passion get bigger for do for say something because I think it's the way you get more creative and you get new ideas, no? Is our imagination. I think it's very limited. I think the our imagination by one of us because he's you know only a little piece of the world, but other people know the other pieces, and when you share it with another people who are passionate with the same thing that you are, you can understand better what is happening with that thing, and you can get a new point of view about, and it's super for me it's very important, no, how to work to them to how to get jobs too is it comes with by other people that are geeks like you, I think, no.
Yeah, like don't keep your own side of the story all the time, you know, like listen to other people, compare experiences, even if they are not on the same I don't know, if they don't do illustration work, maybe they do sculpture, maybe they do oil painting, like all people is there to show you something. And speaking of this, I would like to share like a personal story about the place where we actually both met some months ago. And in Mexico, there's a residency called CAS, that it's Casa del Autor, and it's a art residency for comic book makers and animation makers too. So if you guys are on that realm, you should write that down because you're interested in traveling to Mexico. And this residency has a twin residency in France, in Angoulême, called La Maison des Auteurs, and they both deal in these two forms of art. And I think before I went there, like I have been drawing for so many years, just working for papers and with the timelines and maybe dealing with payments, because sometimes it's like, oh, the payment is 1 month after you finished working, and these are kind of things you have to deal with when you're a freelancer. And to be honest, I was kind of weary. I was like so sick of drawing. Like this happened last year in November, and I couldn't draw one more line. I was like so fed up with drawing, with it was a pressure on me to make any more drawings. And then I won this scholarship to be there and to work on my first graphic novel. And I think it was very healing to me to start getting people like Juan that are like drawing for love, you know, and just being in contact with them again and just surrounding myself with other creatives again was super nourishing for me. And I rediscovered like the passion for just drawing, you know, not for likes on Instagram, not for money, not for getting a big job. It was just like, no, it's just a bunch of geeks drawing together.
Yeah, that I think it's super important. And other things that are very practice, I think it's about you want to publish a book, you know, and but you are not the first person who will do that, but you need that information how to, and it's very important to talk about that thing with other people. How you talk with a lawyer, how you solve a problem with something, about your rights, about the rights you are working on, or the rights from your work, or you know, it's super important to share the spaces and ideas for with these people. With it's not only the passion that is well. I for me is the bigger thing that I made, or I made all what I do. But all that practice things, are important too, and is very important to share time with people who dedicate their lives to make same thing for passion and for the specific things of work. I think is our first advice, no?
Yeah, to surround yourself with experienced people in every field, and
Mhm.
yeah, get the know-how from other people. Okay, so the second part is you can choose your path. Like there's not only one way to make a career for yourselves. There are many ways, and in this point, I would like to compare mine and Juan's work in a way, like because I think we chose very different ways of approaching our profession. This is a little bit of my work. Uh, some of the images are broken, but well, these are some covers I've done and some drawings, but
Right.
but when I chose a path and I started like making drawings, what happened to me is that I started getting like very conscious of the media, the social media and stuff, and I noticed it was a big tool. So what started happening is that I started like molding or shaping my style. I had my own style, but also I started noticing like, oh, this is an art tendency and this is like very hot right now. So I should start picking those stuff and in not changing my style to that, but incorporating that into my style so that I would be more successful in the social media and that would give me more like viewers and potential employers. So my way of building a professional career was like being super conscious of what people want, of what my consumers want, and yeah, trying to not lose my style, but just adapting it into that.
Well, in the other hand, I never see that for make my work. I think I made what I feel. Is for me is very important. For me a value for make my work is to feel very comfortable about what I'm doing. Is for me is the main thing. And it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult because not all people are comfortable about you are doing. Like in these images, I'm talking about, for example, this demon image. I I gifted to a friend, like for birthday or something like that, and he said to me like, why you are bringing me a demon? It's like a dark and obscure image, and I was like, no, but it's beautiful, and well, that is a gift, but in the work realm is more like, well, I'm not interested in your work because it's so dark, so you must to be conscious about what are you doing and why are you, well, not why, but for who, no? For who are you doing? What are you doing? But I think the two the two ways are very different, no? You know?
But complementary, like I think when we talk about this, like sometimes we're like posting things on Instagram and maybe Like I will be very conscious about, oh no, but you have to publish it at this time and da 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 da. And I think, or that's what I feel like you don't care that much. No, it's like no, like my image is strong enough, and I think both ways are correct and they complement each other. Like you shouldn't go too much to the side of no, I have to be super pressured and have a schedule and publish it every day, and forget about this is my work and it's just what I want to do. No, you have to, I think, find a balance between two of them. And
Well, if you can, no, because the balance maybe is not a thing. I think it's well, you could try to balance your work and make all happy, but I think is is very difficult. I think it's very difficult. You must to be conscious about what are you producing. And well, by the other hand, I think you must to try to know who is the people that are looking for your work. So many times I think that well I must to make a metal bands cover, you know, because all my stuff is super deep and it's always inky and demons and all that stuff. But I try to make this to kids, for example, and it won't work because well, if I want to make child books, it won't work for sure. So I think you must be conscious about.
well, yeah, like in illustration, that's true. Like on certain projects, you will have to see who's gonna be your audience. Not consider your client's needs, but also who is gonna receive that information too, because sometimes your client's desires are like very off on the audience, no, and you have sometimes to pull him down to reality and say like, okay, but yeah, this is for certain public, for kids, for whatever, and yeah, be conscious about it. Yeah.
I want to sí le
No,
se,
solo que-
se frita. ¿Seguimos?
well, sí. This is a very important advice. I think that talent is not all, because I think, of course, talent is a great thing. No, talent is what's gonna bring the eye to you and to see that, oh, that's really fresh or really different. But talent is not enough to make a living on art. And this is a series of small advices that we think we should all take into account when becoming a professional. Like the first step is, and this is, I know this is a lot to ask for us creatives, that is to develop social skills. And I know this is a hard one because all we want to do is just sit quiet and draw and with no people bothering us, right? Like I think many artists, we are introverts naturally. We are more in the inside world. So developing social skills may be very bothersome and very heavy, but it's something that has to be done because of what we said earlier. Like getting to know a lot of people is gonna make you enhance your work, but also you don't know who's gonna give you your next work, you know? You may meet someone and they will remember like, oh, Daniela used to make drawings. Oh, I'm gonna call her for this job, you know? So the more you get connected, the more possible jobs offers you can get also.
And I think the sad part of it is that maybe it could be more important that
Yeah.
if you get stunning art, is well, it could be very good, but I think it's more important that people know what are you doing because your work will match with someone, you know. I know that many of you you saw like draws that you say, well, this is like crappy, you know, but it comes to you in any way for something, and and the people who pay for it. So something in it. So it's not like that you are always seeing things like, wow, what is this? It's more like I don't know, get your work known. No?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're just drawing alone in your room and nobody knows about your incredible art, then what's like the point? How are you gonna get it? How are you gonna get like the projects? You have to go out there, you know? And yeah, like you have to create a network, but well, places that are good is like, I don't know, you take classes after school, you get into a workshop, or you go to art fairs and you start like putting, maybe you create a sticker with your networks and you paste it on the wall, or maybe you pass on some cards. But for people who are more introvert, and this is very hard, there are also a big community on the internet. As you know, you can write to your favorite artist TikTokers or open a channel in Discord. And I think for me, it's really because I am a very shy person, even if it doesn't like come across. What I do a lot is that when I go to another city or another country, I go and I see, oh, which artist lives here? And I normally message them through Instagram, and I don't feel that shy because there's a wall, you know, like, okay, I'm not actually saying hello to this person in front, in person, but I am making contact, you know, through the media. So this is also like a good way of getting networks, like just writing to people on the internet, you know, like, hey, I like your work, maybe invite them to do a project. And yeah, there are many ways, even for us introverts, to make bigger networks.
And I think all of us are introverts.
Yes.
So if you find another people that are, well, it's the first point. If you find someone who is passionate about your same the same you are, you have a lot of to talk about. No, it's like, well, it's are so many people that are super passionate about the work. The artwork are the same things that you are looking for.
Just reach out to them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, our second mini advice, and that it's super important, is time management. Because if you are gonna have especially if you're gonna be freelancers, you're not gonna have just one project. You're probably gonna be dealing with 2 or 3 at a time. So time management is key for getting the job done. So, for example, having a schedule on a daily basis, like, oh, okay, I will have to wake up every morning at 8 and like be really controlled about time. Or there's people that has calendars or bullet diaries, whatever works for you, but be really conscious about the time you have for each project, and especially if they are overlapping.
I'm struggle all the time with this because because well my artwork is super detailed. The technique I used to is crosshatch like a crazy. Um, and well, I need a lot of time, no, so much time to, sorry for my English, but well, so much time to do it. So I'm in the border of the deadline. So the deadlines are super important for people because, well, is all is one friend of us say that it's better done than perfect. So it's for me some I hear it like 3 months ago and was like I don't know was
Blew your mind.
yeah blew my mind because it's something super important that the things must be done, not perfect. So well, you must to make things with quality, but people who are hiring you need things on time and it's important to make the deadline like your main thing. Um, and manage your time is super important. No,
Yeah.
you are better in it than me.
You think?
I think so.
Yeah, but that is also like a difference between getting the job or not getting it, you know? Like it's like, oh, that person is super on point. Like I can totally trust this person. Like clients need to know that you are trustworthy. And yeah, better done than perfect is the mantra.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm talking to you now, I think that well, the perfection is only it doesn't exist. You know, you always you can make things better. Always this how do you say the 16 la
The
capella 16
16th chapel, like a
Yeah.
16.
could be better, I think, in any way. I don't know how, but in any way could be better. And well, it's an idea that you must to erase of your head because, well, like errors are part of our sign of our is the way how you make things. No, another woman said that the art it produced when artists face his own limitations, you know, and is that the artists are humans, so you must to embrace your errors, I think, but in the scale. The scale is important. Is super important.
Yeah. And this takes us to the next step that is okay, like you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be self-critical because I know we all know when we are, you know, like, oh, maybe I'm not very good at doing color, and that's what you need to strengthen because like I haven't done a lot of like classes or stuff, but I've been in workshops or even with my peers when I used to study, and I know you have heard the excuse of that's my style. You know, like when you know, like, but people don't have two elbows. No, it's because that's my style. It's like, no, guys, there are no elbows in the world. Two elbows. It's like, no, you know when you're doing something wrong. Like deep down, you know when you need to take more live drawing sessions just to get your anatomy going on, or oh, maybe I should be better at color theory. Maybe I should give a little more time to this project because it's not really coming the way I want to. So I think we should all lose that excuse that or know the difference between your style and when you need to strengthen your ability a little. And also or
mucho.
yeah, or a lot, or you need to practice a lot. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you know, you always know, no? Well, all of us know when a draw or a paint or something is like, well, this is not my best. So I think it's, well, in this point, I think there is a balance between how is your peak and how is how your client want to get, no, is, well, you can't make all perfect for all people, but it's super different to make something messy
Mhm.
for someone who is paying you. So you must to get a balance, no? Not be a perfectionist, but not be a messy artist.
Yeah, like you don't have to be the best artist, but you have to be your best version of artist today. You know, maybe tomorrow you're gonna be better at anatomy, but today you have to be the best you can. And yeah, because you know when you're not hitting your own level, no, today.
Mhm.
Like when you're being lazy or just like I know, like you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to strengthen your work little by little?
I think it's being consistent. Consistent? This is
Yeah, it's a word.
okay. Yeah, consistent. Yeah, it's like, rise the level all the time at the same point, no? For make it, I don't know, consistent.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, I always give this advice, which is fake it till you make it. And this is super real because I know, like, most of the time, and this is also true for artists, I think we're always super self-conscious about our work and ourselves. And we're like, oh no, but I'm not good enough. Like, just now we were in class with this girl that made super dope comic book drawings and she had like her crazy inking. And I was like, whoa, are you publishing? And she's like, no, I'm super bad yet. And we're like, what? Like, I cannot even draw like you. And I think this happens a lot with us, especially when we're about to leave school and it's the very first time we're gonna hit the real world with our work. And I think most of us can get scared and postpone getting an art job. And it's like, no, no, no. Even I had that. Like when I went out, I didn't start working as an illustrator. I started working because my BA is visual narrative or graphic communication. So I started working in a bank doing like their web pages and and stuff because I was still an amateur and I didn't still know how to work an illustration. But I was suddenly realizing like if I don't start like taking this seriously and really start working in art, I'm never gonna work in art. I'm just gonna spend all my life in this bank wishing I should have gotten my career going on. So it's very important that even right now, even if some may not feel like they're ready, you start building your portfolio and you start sending it to potential places where you would like to work. Call it magazines, newspapers, agencies, going to book fairs and contacting the editors of editorial houses you like. It is super important that you trust in your process and you trust that your work right now is worth it. Like if I could show you, I didn't find it, but if I could show you my very first portfolio, it was a lousy PDF with low quality images that I just made in my illustration diploma with my friends. And that got me the job, because it was enough. So trust that your work is enough.
Oh yeah, it's was enough. Always enough. I think another thing is very important. Is all your work, see all your work in the same place. Not only in the media, like somewhere that you could see your work all together, like Behance, for example, or portfolio, or there are many pages to do that. And it's super important that you see what are you doing because many times you are doing pieces like one by one, no? And you forget what you did in the last week. But when you return to it and you begin to see like things that you made all the time or a theme that you love or the way you made something, you will see what is your sign, what is your style. Well, in Spanish it's impronta. I don't know how to say that.
Your imprint.
Your imprint, yeah. That is how your work is yours, why your work is yours and not for other people. And that is super important, I think, because it bring you self-conscious, but in the good way, I think, no? What make you different? It's important to see your own portfolio and say that, well, it's worthy because I don't know.
Because I have something to say, no? Like
Yeah.
I have something going on here that makes me me, and that's unique.
Yeah.
And people is gonna value that. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
At this point, do you have a question?
anyone has a question or like a commentary? Oh, let me press the microphone. If it's on.
Other than what you've already told us, what are some tips that you wish you knew back then that you know now? Like something that you really would have needed to tell yourself early on?
Like personally, for me, I think like know your worth, like because when you start working, people is gonna like sadly try to take advantage of you being like a rookie, like, and it's like, oh, but you will do this work just to get a portfolio, no? Like, oh, but for you, it's an opportunity to do this for free because you don't have a career yet. And don't believe that all the time, like it for me, it's I know you hate balance, but for me it's a balance between like, yes, sometimes you will have to work for exposure, but don't do it a living because if people is reaching out for you, it's because they see something in you, right? It's like, oh, you want my work, so pay for my work, even if it's like a small yeah, figure, yeah, like a small figure, charge for your work. And especially, well, not especially, but if you can do it in advance, like, oh, yes, but I work with the 50% in advance, and then I will show you the sketches, and then give me the other 50 when I'm done. You're not going to be able to do this with every client because they got their own systems of payments, but know your work. Like, don't let people put you down just because you're new to the world, because you're the experts. You've been doing this for your whole life and you have been studying a BA, so that makes you the expert. ¿Qué te gustaría que te hubieran dicho?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Hold on.
Charge?
Yes. Always get a charge of your work.
Charge for
Charge
your
your
work.
Yeah, charge your work always, because well, all at the beginning, all people say, well, I will show your work, and you will get famous, and that is a lie. It's is well, you need money, and it's real, It's not like, oh, okay, yeah, 100 people get to see my work and cool, but it's like you make nothing with maybe, but I think it's more healthy that you charge your work always. Could be, could not be money, for example, but something that the other people say, the other person say like, okay, I am paying, you know. Well, in art you always are exchanging things, like, well, I don't know. This is real, but in my the first tattoos I made, well, people don't trust in my abilities to pierce the skin, and say, well, I can't pay you with money. So I say to them that pay me with a dinner, like pay me with, well, at the very beginning. Please don't do that when you when you get professional. The direct put is not a payment way, but I think it's something, well, charge your work. Is not a hobby. Make art is not a hobby. Is a real work, and it's very important in the world. Is, well, all the stuff is covered with art, the and it's not like, oh, I made this in my free time. No, it's not. So yeah, charge your work.
else has any questions so far?
Could you guys talk a little bit about your experience with the CAS and what it's like to be on one of these experiences? You know, like you went to France and then what happened?
Wait, it's-
Like, how does it work? Do you just all hang out and?
Yeah, well, in Casi, Zapopan, or when we were living this is in Guadalajara, Mexico, which is like a smaller city than Mexico City, and a very artsy city and very nice place. And there, we all used to live in the same house. Like it was like, what, 7 or 10 of us living in the same roof.
Yeah.
And
It's a big house.
yeah, it was a big house. And every day we would go from the house to the studios because they gave us a studio. Like the residencies, what happens normally is they give you a place to work, like a place where there's computers or all the tools you need to get your work done. This is everywhere in the world. Any residency of art can provide like a space for you to work. But the one in Zapopan also give us housing because we're not local, so they give you housing too. So yeah, basically it would be just a bunch of us who likes making comic books, and it would be so cool for me like to go to everybody's studio. Like I would just step in like, hey, what are you guys doing? And I would see all the different styles people were drawing, and that would be super inspiring. And then of course we would make parties at the houses together or making like drawing events together. Yeah. For
Yeah, it
you.
was very cool. And for me, the most important thing about is see the way the other people work
Mhm.
is crazy. I think it's crazy because when you get professional, you lost all this space that you have in the academy when you can well you are surrounded with all creative people, all sensitive people, but when you finish your career, where your education, you are not. So it's more difficult. It's harder. So for me, see what people do for make a page of comic is was super nutritive, I think,
Nourishing.
and nourishing. Yeah, yeah. For me was the very important and very very important because well, comic artists are hard to find. I think. Well, it's hard work, and it's cool to see how people work. No.
Yeah, especially like because we were together in the residency in Mexico and also in the residency in France. Coincidentally, we didn't know we would share the same spaces, and then it is very different to see people working in the other side of the world. You know, like European artists are super different. Like in Mexico, we had all this technology and like ¿cómo se llaman estas? Las intuos.
Welcome.
I had like these big Wacom where you could paint. And then we arrived in France and it's like, what is that? Like, this is not French. You know, like you have to draw with ink and with your hands. So they didn't have any technology. We don't even have Wi-Fi. Like,
Yeah, was shocking. Yeah.
yeah, shockingly we didn't. So it was super rich to see literally people drawing with their hands or with techniques we don't normally use. And just being there in a Wi-Fi-less world too was super cool.
But are crazy people, super talented people.
Super talented.
Yeah, I see I see things that I never see before. You know, it was like I never thought that this is possible with a pencil. You know, it's
Yeah.
a little weird that what I'm saying, but when you see it is well, your brain, your mind opens, and your art for sure in haste.
Highly recommended to do a art residency.
Highly recommend. Yeah, to find another artist. The artists are good.
Mm.
No question or
Would Yeah, we could, the golden list.
Sí.
Yeah. Would
Yeah,
you
we
like to see that? We can talk a little. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
¿Qué era este?
El de como de hacer social.
Connected to this.
So this is a page for the show that we have going on currently at Tube Factory. It's called Golden Mist, and it's it's a contemporary illustrated tarot, featuring both of us.
Called Golden Mist because this texture that we made at the beginning of all the project, well, it's like a smoke. We began to play with the resource to make all the cards around, and we talk about how to make it new, no?
Yeah, like we try to put the actually our imprint as Latin artists too, and to give it a twist, and to because the tarot is like very symbolic, right? Like they are archetypes, which is like universal ideas and thoughts that we can all have in our lives somehow. So we try to take it to our own experience. Like for example, that card with the jaguar is the force. I don't know if you guys are familiarized with tarot. Does anyone knows? Ah, okay. So probably the force, no? So the original image is this woman that is just calmly taking a lion's mouth, and just imagine if you had to touch a lion's mouth, like you would be super scared, no? Because the lion's head is like this big and it can kill you. But still this woman is like super strong because she has the strength, She knows she has the strength, an inner strength. So she's not afraid to contain that violent being. So taking it to my own country, I was changing like for a more local fauna. So we have jaguars, but also there is a legend about in Mexico about the jaguars being with stars on their skin and part of the folklore. And also I tried changing the symbol into a girl instead of a woman because I think, at least in my experience as growing as a cisgender girl, I was always like told like I couldn't do things, like I wasn't strong, just because I was a little girl. So that's why I chose to put a little girl in the strength instead of a woman.
My case, I try to make them all with a twist, and I research from all the meanings about well, this one is very interesting for me, the moon one, because well, at the beginning of the tarot, the moon was two guys, two mathematicians, seeing through the moon, through the skies, to see well the knowledge, no. And this card is well, see, his main what's
Meaning?
His main meaning, sorry, his main meaning is about what is hidden, no? So at the first and at the beginning of the tarot in the first cards, they were mathematicians in this card. So was seeing the skies and trying to get the knowledge from the stars. But when the tarot evolved, these two mathematicians becomes beasts, and well, not only beasts, more like dogs and wolves howling to the moon. That is interesting because why the mathematicians that are very logic people, or well, these guys with big beards and all his knowledge become beasts, you know, and the meaning is very complex because it's about the things on you, into you, that you can run, from. So it's about that. It's about all the things that are obscure on you, and you must to accept to rise the knowledge. You know, is what is hiding in you, and is the main meaning of the card. So I try to make all that in this card, putting the this color. Well, is the beast with the guy who is slave to the beast, and the beast is biting the moon because is the act to embrace your shadows, for say, and that the meaning. And well, and another twist about this is that this dog is a solo squinkle, no?
A solo.
Solo squinkle that is an Aztec dog that guide souls to the other world. So it's a actual breed, Mexican breed. That well, it exists in our time. So are very beautiful, but has this meaning, this magic meaning of the soul guidance, and is that how I compose that image.
Question.
Yes, actually a statement and then a question. I mean, the photographs, I think, are doing the best that they can, but I would encourage all of you to go down to Tube Factory, because one thing that's hard to capture there is the fact these images are kind of printed on almost like pearlescent type paper. I mean, I know you might describe a little bit about how that printing process took place, but more so, the question would be, could you describe a little bit about how your collaborative process unfolded? I mean, was it a matter of exchanging sketches back and forth? Was it more just having dialogue? Would you be able to illuminate that a bit?
It was like, actually this project is possible because we did that art residency, because we both met there. Like, we didn't know about each other's existence before that residency, and then just sitting there working together, it was like, I don't know, we just liked each other's works. Like, oh, I really like your work, and I really like your style, and I really would like for us to do something together one day. And then the opportunity came, like a gallery contacted us in Europe, contacted me, and well, we told them we could do this show about tarot, because Prague has a very like esoteric vibe and history. And then the gallery was lost because something happened with the girl who owned the gallery, and she just was like, I have problems and I have to shut the gallery down. So yeah, we couldn't do it there. And then since we both had to return to our countries after that residency, because Juan is from Colombia and I am from Mexico, yeah, in the beginning we kind of just had the idea, and then
yeah, we just want to make tarot cards, no?
To be honest, yeah.
It's the main thing. Well, I think it's something that no one said to me when I was in your place. I think that always could be a good reason for make art, you know?
Anything is a good
Anything,
reason.
yeah, anything is a good reason. You know, like, I don't know, if you like French fries, you can make art about French fries. And it's fine. It's totally fine. And someone will be connected with you. And well, we made that, no? We made like, okay, we want to make a tarot, and was the first thing, no?
Yeah, I think we're similar in many ways, so it wasn't really hard. Like we were sitting and we were just like, I think relating from our creative mind in the way like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have it with gold? Yeah, it'd be nice to use gold. And oh, but wouldn't it be dope that we only use black and gold? And yeah, you know, we were just like little kids like playing, and then we made a raffle with the major arcana, and we were like, oh, take yours, what did you get? Oh, I got this one, you know. And we were just like playing through all the process. We didn't really make the images as collaborative as we have hoped in the beginning, because the original idea was that I would draw some elements and then Juan would draw another elements and then we would switch. But we had 1 month to do the show.
Yeah, was impossible because we made all these pieces in 1 month, in the last month. So was very, was a rush, I think. Well, it was very intense, very insane.
Yeah, we had to make these kind of decisions about timing, as we told you, like, okay, it would be nice to do this, but we have 1 month to finish the show. So yeah, the decisions were made. And
Yeah, was that.
mm,
Well, I don't know, we always were saying like, oh, why not you put this in this corner and not in this other? Yeah, was very fluid, I think, very natural, the process.
but also that's true. I think like I am used to working alone because I have been a freelancer for 10 years. So to me, it was very refreshing just to be able to be next to you and to let you know, like, what do you think? No, and you would give me feedback, and you, especially with the tower, remember, like, this was a very hard card to design. Because it has an optical illusion that maybe it's not very readable from there, but that card, if you see it like that, it's a well, right? It's like a,
Yeah.
but if you turn it upside down, you can see the tower. It's like an Escher drawing. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it's about the meaning of that card, because the card of tower is a tower that is
Collapsing.
collapsing, yeah, and falling down. But when you get it in a reading, in a divination, it's about something that it will false, like an idea, a relation, a project, something that will false. So is like a sorrow, you know, and this card is, well, I want to play with that idea that the tower will be a well too. So
Yeah, but it was nice, like, you would show me, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
is this readable? Oh, yeah, or change this. Like, I think in that way, it was nice, like, working together just to have the other person's point of view.
yeah, well, you always see different things in the same image. You always see different things. All the people say different.
Yeah. but please come over because we printed them in metallic paper, so they really shine. In person, they are super big.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Are you marketing these as a book or as a kit or as a tarot deck?
not yet as a tarot deck because it's not completed. The tarot is a lot of cards, so we are just finishing the major arcana, but we have received a lot of good responses from the public. So yes, I think we're gonna finish the project and turn it into a deck, right?
Yeah, I want to.
You
Yeah,
want
it's,
to-
it's the main project now. Yeah, I think it's important to make all the major arcana. I think it's important. I think we will finish it. Yeah, why not? It's good merchandising. Yeah.
Were these made traditionally, digitally, or both?
Yeah, all of these pieces are digital, and in my case is Procreate and Photoshop is the two programs I made all the pieces.
Yeah, no, me too. It was all Procreate. It's my first whole Procreate project because one is a Procreate master and I was just beginning. I do everything in Photoshop, but I was like, I was very keen on, no, I have to learn this tool, no? So it was my Procreate project. Like, I'm gonna resolve this just with a tool.
Well, I think another advice is is that it's very refreshing to change the input, the mediums, the media. I don't know how to say that. Well, in these days, Daniela has like dolls, wood dolls, are Kokeshi dolls. I will show you.
Yeah, do you know Kokeshi dolls? They're like Japanese traditional folk toys.
This.
A la izquierda.
Este?
Ajá.
Este? Okay, this is a Kokeshi. Oh, no. Yeah, and Daniela was making these Kokeshi dolls that are just a sphere of wood on another sphere of wood. It's like a snowman of wood, no?
Yeah.
And well, when I began to draw on it, was like, oh my God, this is so much joy, no? Like, my God, I want something like that. And because I am always in front of a screen. So when I took the piece of wood and began to draw and make the eyes and the little arms and all that, was like super refreshing to me.
I have them here, but no, sorry. I think it's just that I've been changing all my files from my computer and I don't know where it is. To show you the Kokeshi dolls.
Yeah, very.
No, but that's true. I actually started that project during the pandemic because I was so fed up with the computer. I was like, I cannot draw anymore in this Photoshop or anything. Yeah, so I started, like buying these kind of dolls or having them cut in the wood shop. Like, oh, I want this design, and I would take a drawing and like, can you make something like this shape? Oh, yeah. And yeah, I started painting them, and right, isn't it refreshing? Yes, just like to change media and also to think in 3D, no? Because I think I never think about shape because I'm a 2D artist. So
Yeah, Well, you need a main technique. I think you need something that you made really good, but you you need to refresh it too. You need to change your technique in, well, a couple of days. I don't know. Make something different to enhance your nourish your art. So, but well, I made all my whole work in digital.
You never know where you're going to get inspiration. Like recently, I started to make rugs, which doesn't seem that inspirational. But seeing your little guys up there, it opens up all these other doors. Like in this case, it's all these other doors to color that I wasn't thinking about. Like I started to use weirdly gold and white and black.
You see?
Yeah, and those were not colors that I would ever have used in illustration. But it was, yeah, it was like boing, and my little happy heart just like popped along, and then my illustrations get different. So don't forget that, you guys. Keep up with all the stuff that you love, right?
I have a question for you guys. Like, any of you have started working already or have had commissions or, yeah? Would you like to share your experience with us? Like, how is it for you, like, starting working on something real?
Uh, I think taking commissions is a really good learning experience because I started out doing it the wrong way and I eventually learned how to do it the right way. So I started taking commissions like a couple years back the way most people do, which is just putting out a post online and having people reach out to you via like Twitter or Tumblr DMs and communicating through DMs that way, which I actually would say now that is the worst idea. And over the years, I've learned new methods of like taking commissions and speaking with my customers because my time is money, but also I also need everything written down in a more official manner than just interactions and messages. And so nowadays I have a Google Forms that people would fill out and we would communicate mainly through email. Uh, and so they have to answer a list of questions, what they want, what they're interested in making. Here are the things that I make. Please select one that you're interested in, you know, like maybe one's a sketch or line art, full color, or something completely different where we talk back and forth about what the price would end up being. But to have all of that filled out in one form saves me a ton of time personally, and then I can reach out to them through email, and everything's recorded and saved. And then when I do payment, I used to just go through PayPal. I don't do that anymore. I now send invoices through an app called Stripe. So it's a lot of trial and error because I feel like everyone starts out doing it the wrong way and then eventually slowly learns how to be more professional about it and how to save your butt in the long run, because people can try to scam you really easily.
Yeah, totally. Like, you sound so professional for me, you know, like, I wish I knew that back then. Google Forms is not, yeah, because as you say, like, people try to scam you when you're out of school. It's like, oh, this little cute baby, and you know, and yeah, you have to be prepared for that. Like, yeah, and having it written, the best advice. Yeah, have it all in mails, like no phone calls because it's like, oh no, I never said that, and it's like, yes, you did. Yeah, no, perfect. You, yeah. Totally, exactly, yeah.
Comment was to put a limit on changes in terms of service for our Zoom audience.
Yeah, no, take notes. You got it right. You also wanted to share your experience with us, right? No, you also had a.
Dale.
Oh, su voz es súper fuerte.
Hi. Okay, so I've talked about this with a couple other professors, but about a year ago, about a year ago or so, I made 2 book covers for a friend. Reached out to me, old friend that I've known for like several years, um, saying, "Hey, I know that you're trying to get out there. I'm publishing my novel, and I'd like you to do the cover for it." Like, great. Talking back and forth like on social media, just trying to get a lay of the land. And for the book cover, I don't know if I want to say the full price, but I severely undercharged. And they were actively looking for college art students that were willing to take up all the breadcrumbs. So I mean, like, I needed the money at the time, and it was better than nothing, so I took it. But afterwards, it was just kind of like, okay, just yeah, coming back to like the tips that you made of just like knowing your worth, um, knowing yourself more, uh, as you create more and more art, and based off of that, how you can learn to value that yourself, uh, and project that value onto others. But yeah, if you're just starting out, it's a good job. After that, you're kind of like, all right, yeah, I want something bigger. But yeah.
I don't think like anybody's gonna go out there and not uh and you're gonna be safe from these kind of deals. Like it happens to the best of us, like it happens all the time, and I think it's part of learning, as you say. So I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you have to take the job too, right? Like me, like after the residency program, things has been a little slow, at least in Mexico. I don't know here, but in Mexico, freelance was a little slow for months, and I was like, oh my god, like I really need to get any job, like any job. And yeah, sometimes you just need the job too. That's a reality. Not like, yeah, take it. But yeah, next time you can say like, okay, I did it this time because we're all friends, but I really need to charge you this because this is what my work is worth, right?
Do you work other jobs besides freelancing, or do you make enough freelancing that you only do that?
Pues del arte, pues.
At this point, no. But well, for me, well, I teach in an university and I made tattoos when it is possible. Yeah, is that what I made?
In the beginning, as I told you, I used to work for a bank. Like for a year, I would like art would be my side hustle, like okay, I work all day and then in the afternoon I return home and I make my commissions, no? It was in the beginning, but slowly you're gonna get more and more clients, and I think it's very possible to, yeah, to just be an art freelancer. Like that's how I've been working for the past 10 years. Especially this past year has been tough, I'm not gonna lie. And I also started working for another bank, actually, but doing their graphics for their social media. So it's still an art job in a way. Like I do make art, but it's more like on the line of the bank and but yeah, it is possible. I think the main thing is like to know your charge your clients in advance, like and be very disciplined with, okay, this pay is coming next month, so I have to do this. Yeah.
Bit about your kids' books. Are they a good moneymaker or not? Or are they just passion projects?
No, like my main core of work is children's books. That's what I get hired most. This is the last one I made actually last year. But no, yeah, like I am from Mexico, so my economy is different. Like in Mexico, art really is a commodity. A commodity? No, like like a luxury. Like not many people are able or willing to pay that much for art. So what I do is I work for other countries too, which is something you can also do, like work for the UK, because the UK pays a lot of money for, yeah, they pay good money for children's books. And for agencies are great. Like reach out to agencies. Right now, I'm being represented by an agency that has an office in New York, in France, and in London. So they don't give me a lot of work every day, but they connected me to the Washington Post, which would have been difficult otherwise. And that's a very like good paid job. But books, yeah, books, it depends on the country you're working in, will give you less or more money. And also it depends on the clients, because there are some clients that, you know, that book is their love project. So they are gonna pay you a lot, like, yeah. This, for example, was for Disney, was, ¿cómo se llama? The credits for a series. And of course it's Disney, so they paid me good money, no? It didn't make me rich or anything, but but it was better, no? Yeah, but no, all the projects I made, I get well paid for, or at least what I need. I think what you need to do is like when they are giving you not such a big sum of money, is like, okay, like balance the word, like, okay, I'm gonna do a great deal of money, but can I do it for this? Maybe it's not what I would like to be perfect, but it's enough to do the work and not be like a waste of time, you know, like you're on red numbers on your time. Because when they don't, like, for example, something that I also find important as an artist now is not only work for others, but also take time for my own projects. That's very important, I think. So whenever a client is not paying me enough, I don't do that job, and I take that time to keep up with my own projects, because I know those projects are also gonna give you something in return, money or scholarships or I don't know. Yeah, that's actually how I got the scholarship to go to the art residency, because it was one of my personal projects that I pitched. Yeah.
I have just one last question then, which would be, I mean, both of you are kind of on your track in your careers, but could you describe how, like, if you had one, what was your kind of first big break and how you got it? So when it kind of, you know, from the developing stage where you feel like you're actually really starting to be in the game.
Breakthrough en tu trabajo. Or en tu trabajo.
Yeah.
Sí, o sea, ¿cuál fue como tu primer gran proyecto? Así que dijiste, ah, esto sí ya estoy profesional.
I my I think was very recent. That is what is it's my first comic book. Well, my first comic book published by a publisher house. That is that you are seeing is about a cow. Yeah, well, I think for us Latin Americans is very different to you that you are Americans. Well, it's not is because our countries, I think, not don't have the better economy or the better ways to produce art. So being art there, I think is so different to being an artist here. So for me, this was a very big deal, because was like, oh my God, I will publish in Europe, you know, and it's super, well, for me was like, at that point, I thought that my art was not so worthy, because I thought that, well, I'm not so good that I'm thinking, but was for me, the publisher house say to me like, okay, we want your draws, and your draws are super good and are in the same level that the European artist. For me, like an Latin America and more like a Colombian artist, was like, oh my God, this is so dope. So for me, was my first big deal was that because, but before that, I made this, that is my first comic, which I put on in front of the a publisher house in France that is called Humanoids. Humanoids is the people who published Moebius. I don't know if you know Moebius, but it's a super good drawer, and is well, it's a reference. It's a reference if you like to draw, you must to read Moebius. And that people say to me like, okay, your draws are super good, but you are no one because you are a Colombian guy and you never published something before in Europe. And for me was a little, was breaking because was like, okay, I had the talent, but I don't have the story or the background to publish with these people. So I'm not someone who a publish house who trust, you know. Well, because publishing house are not ONGs, are a business. So if they are not sure that they will sell X numbers, is not a deal. It's not worthy for them. So I present the other draws for them. They said to me that, and a couple of weeks after, another publish house in Spain said to me that, okay, you have what we need to publish someone. So come with us and publish. For me was, oh my God, now I will do a comic book in Europe, and is, well, for me it was a breakdown, I think. Yeah, a breakthrough. Sorry. sorry. Yeah, is that.
And in my case, like, I think I always struggle with a heavy imposter syndrome. So to me, everything I publish is a great, a great project. It's like, oh my God, they want to work with me. But I guess like a breakthrough for me was actually going to the residency. And I always wanted to make a comic book because I always loved comic books. And it was my real passion. Like Juan realized he wanted to draw. I also said like, yeah, I like illustrating books, but really I like comic books. This is what I really love. And I never did it because I was too scared, like, oh, but I don't have the experience. I haven't been drawing that much, because when I went to the residency with them, all of them had been drawing for ages, just comic books. And it was like my very first time. So when we went to France, we had the chance to go to the biggest graphic novel fair worldwide, it's like Comic-Con, but for graphic novel in Europe. So there I had the chance to pitch my project, and I got a contract with one very big editorial house. So to me that was like, oh my God, like I really have what it takes to make a comic book. Now I have to make it and I'm freaking out. So that's another story. But to me I think that's one of my major achievements.
How long is your show up at the Tube Factory? How long your exhibition? Do you know when it comes down?
19 November 19.
See you until November 19th. Yeah.
So now you all know. Thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise. And yeah, thanks. Can't thank you enough for having given us what you gave us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.